Okay, now it must have worked. Okay, so the next book I got, I don't really know how to pronounce it, so don't kill me. The Teachings of Ptahhotep, the oldest book in the world. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how to pronounce this. It says Asa G, Hillard III, Larry Williams and Nia Damali. So this is the cover. I forgot who recommended this book. I thought it was gonna be cool to read, so I got it. So it's basically talking about how Dja Nature is Africa's and the world's oldest recorded writing system. If you could read that word right there. It says it's the world's oldest system, basically, and then it says this ancient Kemetic and pre-Kemetic civilization was native African, which means that it was black or Africoid civilization. I don't know why I'm sitting over here tripping up on the words, but it was basically, it reminded me of the 42 Commandments, and yeah, it basically reminded me of that. It just gave you a whole bunch of rules that you should go by. It's saying it's the first book to ever in the world. And one thing it basically said was the way when you have kids and when you are where you are, the way you act and the way you treat others, and your kids start to emulate that, or it's talking about listening, basically. This last part, which is one I loved. It was a lot about listening and learning and being wise, knowing when to speak and knowing when not to speak, and not showing any signs of hate or speaking out against people, bashing people, and stuff like that. And one thing it said was, it's good to be a listener. It's good to be a listener, and you will basically be rewarded for that. It's great because when your father does something that's positive and like lead his family with good intentions and good deeds, and if the son sees that, he should automatically learn that from his father, but he should want to learn that from his father, and that will start to, the way his dad acts, he will start to be like his dad, and then his child will be like him, and so on and so. So it's like a generational thing. You do good, you get good, and all that great stuff. And then it was one part. Oh, hearing well is speaking well. So it's like one thing that I liked. It said, "Don't speak unless you know what you're talking about." And to me, that because you don't really want to just speak on, like, especially if it's like facts or something like that. If you don't know what you're talking about, and then you have somebody who knows what they're talking about, and you trying to argue with them, it's like you don't have anything to back it up. Why are you saying anything? And I love that. It says hearing well is speaking well. It says the sun in here. Useful is hearing to one who hears. Hearing is better than anything else. It creates goodwill, like I just said. How good is it for a son to understand his father's words? That son will reach old age through those words. So it's basically talking about listening to your ancestors' words, listening to your parents, the wise people who preach, and doing the things that they said because they've lived here and they know that they have that wisdom. So by you listening to them, you will also live a greater life, and you will pass down those teachings from generation to generation. The things that they've learned and they're telling you, you'll basically I won't say live a better life, but you will know what to do and what not to do based off of what they taught. It's like, yeah, you know what I mean. And then there was this last part. It said, the fool who does not hear, he can do nothing at all. He looks at ignorance and sees knowledge. He looks at harmfulness and sees usefulness. He does everything that one detests and is blamed for it every day. I don't know why that reminds me of it reminds me of things that, obviously it reminds you of things that go on in today's times, like people ignorance is basically bliss. And people seem to draw more into that than the goody two-shoes niceness. They like drama because it's something to look at. They don't see usefulness in the good. They don't see usefulness in, certain things because they see it as boring or, non-entertaining. So on all that stuff. And it says, he does everything that one detests and is blamed for every day. And it's not really something that he sees as bad because he does it on a daily. So it's nothing, new to him. It's not, he doesn't see himself really as a bad person because that's something, or whatever he does is negative because that's what he does every day. You know what I mean? As a test to being a positive person, and then you see something negative or you start to do something negative and you're like, oh my God, like, whoa. But if you've always done stuff like that and so on and so forth, it's like nothing new. And then it says, he lives on things by which one dies. His fool is evil speech. So it's basically talking about listening and hearing and being a great listener, knowing when to talk and when not to talk. It's a really good book though. I would recommend it. And one thing that I liked about it, two more things I'm reading. It said, listen, if you want to endure in the mouth of the hearer, speak after you have mastered the craft, like I just said. If you speak to good purpose, all of your affairs will be in place. Conceal your heart, control your mouth, and you will be known amongst the officials. And be quite exact before your leader. Act so that no one will say to him, he is the son of that son. So I like that because it's talking about. I like that because it's saying like you're able to speak wisdom and knowledge. Well, of course, while you're learning it, you'll be able you'll learn certain things. But what is it saying? Speak it after you have mastered your craft, because you'll know everything. Basically, it's like me trying to teach somebody how to do Taibo, but I'm still learning it. I can only learn you a couple of things. I can't teach you everything. So it's like, how can I be a teacher? Well, you can be a teacher while you're still learning, but they're saying when you've experienced all that and you like, there's no one answer, but it's always like not a better way to do. Well, sometimes it's like maybe you shouldn't look at it as that. And maybe if you look at it as this, it'll change your perception. It gets you to understand, because sometimes when we know certain things, even if we know some stuff, we still won't be able to understand why. Like, we can know what's happening, but not why it's happening. And I think that's what it means. That's what I think it means. And then it says, the things that I did on earth were not small. I have had 110 years of life. As a gift of the Pharaoh, I have had honors exceeding those of the ancestors by doing Mayat until the state of veneration. It is done from its beginning to its end. So it was found in the writings of the ancestors and the deities. And it was in this book, it was talking about how we will start to, us black people will start to look more into our heritage and where we come from, because a lot of that stuff has been hidden from us, because basically white people, the people who came and colonized, they whitewashed everything. And we don't know who we are. We were taught that we were inferior. And that's basically what it was saying in the postscript. I like this postscript. It says, clearly the restoration of these writings destroys forever the myth of Africa that was created by greedy colonizers to justify their wanton destruction of African cultural competitors, the capture of their national wealth, and the theft of their intellectual legacy as well. That I was reading that in both of the miseducation of the Negro and post-traumatic slave syndrome. So a lot of these books correlate, obviously. But I think this is a really good book. And I wrote, by knowing this, we can eliminate the factor us blacks were inferior. That's what I wrote that. But I recommend this book. I like it. It's small. It's like 40 pages. It has a Kemetic diary. It tells you like the meanings of the names, like Kemet, the Black Land, the ancient name of ancient Egypt, and so on and so forth. Mayats. What I was just the book name, a vizier of the old kingdom credited with having set down celebrated precepts of morality and ethics. Okay, what was the can I find it? I think I'll find it. Yeah, I can't find it. But I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I recommend this. The next book I'm reading is called Melanin, Why Black People Are Black, or How Black People Became Black. So look out for that one. I'm about to do this one in a minute. So yeah. Peace out. The world's oldest recorded writing system. If you could read that word right there. It says it's the world's oldest system, basically, and then it says okay, now it wants to work. Okay, so the next book I got, I don't really know how to pronounce it, so don't kill me. The Teachings of, so this is the cover. I forgot who recommended this book. I thought it was gonna be cool to read, so I got it. So it's basically talking about how Mdwa nature is Africa's and this ancient Kemet and pre-Kemet civilization was native African, which means that it was black or Africoid civilization. I don't know why I'm saying Ptahhotep, the oldest book in the world. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how to pronounce this. It says Asa G, Hillard III, Larry Williams and Nia Damali.